Yo, Shortbox Nation, this is Botter, and I'm here to tell you right now that con season starts early this year with the return of Northeast Florida's premier anime, comic book, and sci-fi event, Collective Con. That's right, Northeast Florida's largest pop culture convention returns for its 10th year on March 8th through the 10th at the Prime Osborne Center in Jacksonville, Florida. 10 years of Collective Con, they're pulling all the stops out to make sure this is a can't-miss event. And the guest list they got going, don't even get me started on the guest list. I mean, they've got A-list celebrity guests and voice actors from some of your favorite movies, anime, and video games like Elijah Wood and Sean Ashton, Ray Park, Trisha Helfer, Ross Marquand, Max Middleman, and Bo-Katan herself will be there, Katie Sackhoff. Tell me what other convention is giving you the opportunity to meet Frodo and Sam from Lord of the Rings, Darth Maul, and One Punch Man all under the same roof. Only at Collective Con. And if you're looking to get some of your favorite comics signed, or if you want to get an original sketch from some of the best comic artists in the world, well, you're in luck, because there'll be plenty of comic and creator guests there, like DC comic artist extraordinaire Clay Mann, Harvey Award-nominated illustrator John Taylor Christopher, Marvel and DC cover artist Chris Stevens, and acclaimed Star Wars author Timothy Zahn. They'll all be at Collective Con this year. And if you're looking to bring the family, or if you want to make a weekend out of it, you're in luck, because there'll be so much going on at Collective Con that weekend in the form of vendors, fan panels, video game tournaments, cosplay contests, after parties, and a bunch of fan events. You can purchase single and 3-day weekend passes now using the link in this episode's show notes, or by going to collectivecon.com to book your tickets and hotel. Buy your tickets now, and I'll see you at Collective Con, March 8th through the 10th. Now let's start the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Short Box Podcast.
The Short Box Podcast is recorded live from Jacksonville, Florida.
Yo, Short Box Nation, welcome back to the podcast. How are you doing today? If you follow me on Twitter or Instagram, my personal account, then you already know the vibe I'm on. All right, we're recording this the day after the Jags' miraculous comeback against the Chargers. So I am solely being powered by Victory Sunday energy today, which is highly needed because your boy woke up from a vicious hangover this morning from all the celebration last night. But I had to hop on the mics, had to see my man Ed, and our special guest today too. It was all... The short box was enough reason to drag my ass out of bed and get hydrated and ready for today's show. To all of our new friends joining us for the first time, my name is Botter, here at your service to welcome you to the Short Box Podcast, the comic review and talk show where you hear the best conversations about comic books and pop culture inspired by them. This is episode 378, and my panel today includes the eximious Edmund Danzart joining me here in the Short Box. Yeah, okay. It is. It means distinguished. I probably said it wrong, but it means distinguished, excellent, and all that. And for that, Ed, I'm giving you a round of applause because I ain't seen you in a minute. What up, Ed? How you doing?
I'm good, man.
Hell yeah. All right, Ed is here for me in the Short Box HQ, as you can tell if you're watching us on video. And also joining us is someone who is no stranger to the show because he's been a guest co-host more times than I could count, honestly, at this point. I don't know why I keep inviting him back, all right? Considering his piss-poor performances in the past, I'm messing with him because he's staying quiet, and I know he's going to respect my intro until I welcome him. But he is a real deal internet celebrity. If you know, you know. All right, that's all I'm going to say. I won't rehash the whole story of his Twitter fame, but you just got to know. All right, you got to be in the know. He's also the co-host of the movie review podcast Cinema Villains. Shortbox Nation, if those weren't enough clues for you, let's go ahead and welcome the return of Shaggy Black to the show. What up, Shag?
Yeah, what it do, man? You talking about getting hydrated and everything, boy. Like, normally, for those who know, they always know I usually bring a drink on the show to share with the folks, but obviously we are remote. But I'm going to still have a drink in the hand, but it ain't no booze, baby. We rehydrating with this motherfucking Gatorade, boy. Like,
Yeah, I got a little bit of electrolytes in my water today.
Boy, I am tired, boy. Like, after last night, dog, absolutely not. I am spent, brother. Like, I don't see no more alcohol. And I say that like I'm not finna pull nothing in the next 5 minutes.
Once we go on break, we can actually bust out the good stuff.
Yeah, man. It's good to be back.
Hell yeah. I'm glad to have you on, brother. And big shout outs to Jose, your co-host on the Cinema Villains podcast. I know he's a huge Short Box fan and supporter. Yeah. So big shout outs to Jose. Shaggy, I'm gonna give you a very rare opportunity right now to plug your show and let people know, what is the Cinema Villains about, if there's someone scratching their head as to what that is and who you are.
Yo, I'm gonna age myself here, but we are like we're a diversified Siskel and Ebert, except like alcohol is flowing. We take your favorite movie from your youth, possibly those who have gone through like Blockbuster, Hollywood Video, anyone like that, and we not only review the movie, we rate the villain in the movie. So therefore, the movie could be garbage water, but have a fire villain. We have a couple of drinks, probably one too many, and we go back and we review those movies, and we do them by 3 categories. Those categories are the motive, the drip, and the threat level.
I love the middle category the most. That is the most Shaggy category I could think. The drip.
It is. And from there, you can listen to us at anywhere you get your podcasts. We drop bi-weekly. We do all that, but I can't wait to get back to start 2023. And I'm going to rip Barter on my show as much as possible, as he just like welcome me back in the ways like I'm not a 6 man of the year for like I wasn't 6 man on the year coming off the bench for you, bro.
You've come in clutch. You've come in clutch a lot, and I mean today being no exception. I mean obviously C and Ashley couldn't join us. So we had to go ahead and break in case emergency, and that's where Shaggy Black comes in. Shortbox Nation, today we'll be taking a departure from our normal comic spotlights and interviews to catch up with the latest comic news and pop culture developments that have made headlines this year so far. So some of the news we're going to cover today is old, some is recent from this week, and some might just be news to you. All right, this might be the first time that you're hearing it. Now, you would think for a year that we're only 15 days in at the time of this recording, that would be a quiet one, that we would start 2023 without much to talk about. But au contraire, my friend.
We've got things to talk about.
Thank you, John Stewart. We have a lot to talk about. So I encourage you to check out the timestamps listed in the show notes if you want to hear about a specific topic, or maybe you're looking for us to talk about a certain thing. Check out the show notes. I've got all of the topics we'll be talking about today listed there. But before we begin, I'd be remiss if I didn't shout out a few people that help make this whole operation possible. For starters, we've got our incredible sponsors, Collective Con and Gotham City Limit. You heard about Collective Con at the top of the show, and you'll hear about our favorite comic shop later on. And you can't talk about keeping the lights on here at Shortbox HQ and not mention our loyal and badass Patreon community. These are friends and family and diehard fans who believe in us so much that they actually invest real money into the show. I don't know, Ed, could you call them delusional for believing in us?
I call them the real fans, is what I call them.
Woo! Come on,
it's
man.
A challenge. The new year, Ed. New challenge.
There we go. Regardless of their mental state or questionability, I do agree with you, Ed. That is real love.
The money still spends the same way, no matter how crazy they are. Money still spends the same.
You're right, Ed. Regardless of their mental state, that is real love right there. And for the amount of bonus content that we give our patrons, I think our patrons are getting a steal, but I'm happy to provide them so much extra content. I'm a little disappointed that more of you listening right now aren't throwing us a measly $1 or $2 every month, all right? I get it. Eggs are expensive as hell right now.
Oh, my God.
But short box content is priceless, okay? I can't complain too much about our numbers and all that because this year we started out strong. Right? We got some new members joining our Patreon that I'm really excited to welcome and make a big deal about. So starting with Chris Hacker from the Oblivion Bar podcast, we'll give him a round of applause. Chris was on the Best of Year episode we put out a few weeks ago, and he completely surprised me with his membership. Right after we got done recording, he went ahead and signed up for the Patreon. And all I got to say is, if an upstanding podcast like the Oblivion Bar is supporting the show, well, there's a case of the fucking crazies going around, right? I think he's inhaled some Joker gas or something. Chris, appreciate you joining the Patreon. Thank you for your support. It wasn't just Chris that made the best financial decision of his life. Let's go and give it up for some good friends of the Short Box, right? Phil and Eric of the Wait For It podcast also became new members of the Patreon community. Those are two of the best dudes I personally know making some great podcast content. So thank you, Phil and Eric. And last but not least, all right, our newest Patreon community member, is Chad Landenberger.
Oh.
Longtime friend of the show. All right, he was a guest way back when. Longtime supporter, longtime friend, and I'm so happy to have
So what you're
Chad.
saying is about time. About time.
And you must have read my mind. I didn't have it in the script, but I think it was in the first draft. About time, people. Big
Appreciate it,
shout outs to Chris. Big shout outs to Phil and Eric of the Wait For It podcast, and big shout outs to Chad. Thank you guys 1,000 times over, and we appreciate you. Seriously, all jokes aside, we love you guys and appreciate you. If you're a listener right now that wants, is feeling a little left out, is a little jealous, like, I want some fucking praise and attention. I guess the real question you got to ask yourself is, are you ready to take your support and short box experience to the next level? Because if the answer is yes, which is the only correct answer, you should be joining our Patreon community, all right? You can do so by clicking the link in the show notes or going to shortboxjacks.com to see what we got going on. With the sales pitch out the way, with the introductions and appreciation out of the way, it's time to take a look at what's been going on this year in the world of comics and related pop culture so far. Shaggy, you are our guest. It's been a minute since the fans got to hear your voice. So I want you to go ahead and kick us off with some bad news, all right? You decided to come with some, rather sad news, all right? Kind of broke my heart reading this headline. What you got for us today?
Okay, first off, before the J.R. Smith of the short box community do this, I gotta do it right. First off, I got the jersey on with the official short box insignia with the patch on. We gotta throw that beast on real quick.
That's saying a lot because I'm sure you got. I mean, it's probably warm in that house, and you're throwing on that 20-pound comic book Fiend Club jacket.
Yes, sir. Shout out to the boys. Shout out to the South. The South got something to say always, but it actually is kind of cold in here because Mama ain't trying to have these heats on while she ain't home, and I'm just a polar bear. But let's get into it.
I love that. No matter how old you get, you could be, in your 30s. You could be a grown ass man paying your own bills. When you at your parents' house, you don't touch that thermostat, no matter how cold.
Absolutely not, bro. They done trained me right from day one, bro. Absolutely not, bro. But fellas, obviously, yeah, you're right. It's kind of somber news. But first off, I want to open it up and say, what do y'all think about Nic Cage, man? Do y'all like Nic Cage? Y'all mess with Nic Cage? Fuck with him?
He's a fucking unicorn. I think he's like a unicorn in Hollywood. Like, you just don't believe someone like him exists, and then, but it's hard to deny him. Yo, this is Botter. Sorry for interrupting this episode, but I'll keep it brief. I wanted to let you know about a massive sale we have going on over at the Shortbox store on all of our merchandise and apparel. That's theshortboxstore.bigcartel.com. You can now save 20% off your entire order using the discount code YO, Y-O-O. So if you've been waiting for the right time to finally buy that gauntlet snapback, or if you ever wanted to buy any of the shirts you see me wear on the podcast, well, now's your chance to get them for a steal. We still have a few sizes left of everything, but they won't last long, and once they're gone, they are gone. And did I mention that all of our apparel is screen printed on high quality material? None of that heat transfer or direct to garment stuff. Our shirts are some of the most comfortable ones you'll ever wear, and the hats look even better in person. So wear your support for the Shortbox Nation proudly, knowing that you're going to look damn good doing it. Get to theshortboxstore.bigcartel.com as soon as you can, and don't forget to use that discount code YO, Y-O-O, to save 20% off your entire order. All of this information can be found in this episode's show notes if you want to get there faster. Thanks for not pressing fast forward. Now back to the show.
Bro, the renaissance that this man has been on as of late
Talk about it.
is like insane to me, bro.
Yeah,
like
he paid all them taxes. He can do some good stuff now.
He's not on the run anymore. He's not on the run.
Nah, he been chilling, man. He been chilling. He been doing his movies. He's at that one movie that was kind of like a mockumentary of him that recently came out
The
with
Unbearable Weight of Talent or something like that.
Yeah, The Unbearable Weight of Talent, and then that also has your boy Mando in it.
Pedro Pascal.
That movie. Yeah, Pedro Pascal, and then obviously he's playing Dracula in the new movie Renfield coming out later this year, which absolutely looks amazing. But one movie that most of our people are looking forward to and that gets a sequel later this year is Into the Spider-Verse, and he played a character in the first movie as Spider-Man Noir. Unfortunately, in the newer sequel that's coming out, Into the Multiverse, Across the Spider-Verse, excuse me, he will not be returning as Sony has decided not to bring him back. Now, just to play devil's advocate, they probably had no idea that Nic Cage would be what he is right now, because with animation it takes time and everything else, and or who knows, because it is Sony, and just like other movie studios, they do not make the best decisions. Looking at you, Warner Brothers. Now, do we know that Spider-Man Noir is in the movie currently? I'm pretty sure he is, but I don't know how big of a role he has had or is going to have in the newer movie when it drops.
I don't think there's any trace of him in at least the teaser trailer that's been put out yet.
I didn't see it. I was going to ask y'all if y'all seen the trailer, and I've watched it a couple times, and I have not seen anything else, but I get hyped for seeing everybody. As soon as I'm like, okay, I'm here to look for Spider-Man Noir, I see like bombastic Batman, and I get geeked out all over again. So I'm like, okay, I'm not doing my job. But when approached about it from Screen Rant, which I'm getting this article from IGN, from their comic site, Screen Rant, he reports to him, and he says, you have to ask Sony. I don't know what's going on with that. No one's spoken to me about it. Ask them. I don't know. I wish they would. I love Spider-Man Noir. I think it's a great character. Spider-Man's the coolest superhero, and then you combine that with James Cagney and Humphrey Beauregard and Edward G. Robinson, and come on, it's a great character. Of course, those were the inspirations he did when he became Spider-Man Noir, and I'm like, you want to talk about fumbling the bag, man? You gotta fumble the bag. Sony's fumbling the bag, dog, because how do you not take what he's been doing and add him right back to the movie? Yeah. Granted, Spider-Man Noir is not one of the bigger characters, but it was one of the most noticeable characters, and the way he played.
He had one of the best lines to me. Sometimes I let matches burn down on my fingertips just to feel something, anything.
Yo, see, yeah, that's the most edgelord ass line, and I'm like, yo, that's the one. That's it.
They're not gonna give us more of that. What? Yeah,
dog,
you're right.
No,
they drop in the bag.
They fumble in the bag on that, man, and that kind of hurts my soul, dog. Because like, again, it wasn't a big role that he was in, man, but like at the same time, bro, like. He's granted. Could you sit there and say he's probably going to cost more for us to put on if he's going to have like 5 sentences? Mm-hmm. Like, why would we pay that? But I'm pretty sure he would have came back with no issues and not asked for like a crazy amount of money.
Or at least he seems like right? that. Like even if he's not going to have an actor. I get that. Like we're expanding the roster and lineup for this movie exponentially. I mean, you got Oscar Isaac in it now, Issa Rae. Jason Schwartzman playing the Spot. I get that we're expanding the roster, and the story's focus is going to be on new characters. If he's in the movie, maybe it sounds like he won't even have any lines, which to me would be a disservice. You got Nic Cage,
yeah,
and you ain't gonna have any lines. It sounds like
none.
Yeah, and you're saying it's a money thing. They didn't even put it on the table to him to turn down.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you didn't even ask the man.
Real quick. Do you think this is just how my stupid brain works? Do you think the casting director is like reading this article like and is looking over at his like to-do list?
No, I forgot something.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, fuck, man. He's like, fuck, man.
Yeah, and the fact that he's a legit fan too. He's not just a dude playing a part. He's a fan. He has those comics he had to sell and that dinosaur skull and those castles and shit. So
yeah, I mean, Nic Cage is the most acceptable weirdo, bro.
Yeah.
Like I think in the community, and for you to not have this, to have the internet's most favorite weirdo on board with that movie kind of hurts, but fear not, because obviously we do know that this movie is only part 1. Yeah, so part 2 comes out in 2024.
We got time.
So there's still hope that they can pull out that list and go like, yo, let's make that phone call. Be like, yo, hey Nick, I'm so sorry, bro. Hey man, please come back.
No, Nick, we was gonna call you this month. Like it was on the schedule. You didn't
bro.
You didn't get the email. It went to your spam
folder.
We
called you, man, and it went straight to voicemail, dog. Something about Calico or something, bro. Like we figured you call us, man. Exactly. It's like you talking about you didn't know, we didn't know.
You was good. We was waiting on the call from you.
We was waiting on the call back. We waiting from you, baby.
Well, it's weird
waiting on you.
Because they were even talking about doing even spin-offs with that character. So you go from according to what I heard about what part of Nic Cage's kind of response to it. It's like, yeah, we were part of the. We were supposed to do some spin-off stuff, maybe not like a full length, but maybe some shorts or an episode or something like that, or like those cartoons they put in the beginning, like a 10 or 15 minute deal. But yeah, it's like he's still a name regardless of what anyone thinks of him he's still one of the greatest actors alive. If you look at his whole Rolodex of movies, his whole resume, he's still a name. He's Hollywood royalty, his family. He's still a guy that you want, and a guy that wants to be part of it. You know, it's and the fact that you don't even put the offer on the table, it's mind-boggling. And it's Sony too, so they have like kind of a history of.
Dog, but Ed, you also know that I and Barter know that Sony is some hoes, so they are looking to try to get any get back to say, yo, we messed up, we gonna do that, because these are the same people that put Morbius back in theaters, bro.
Like people liked it because of the memes.
Like because of the memes.
I would have had them take the entire Morbius budget and just given that to Nic Cage for another.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Just do that for me. All right, good stuff. Thank you for kicking us off with that, Shaggy. That was good.
No problem, bro.
All right, Shaggy, I'm gonna try to follow up to that and kind of just sticking into the movie realm. One of my favorite members of the Avengers and MCU, our boy Jeremy.
He really?
Is he really though?
All right, I know that sounds like hyperbole, but
I like the actor,
Cap.
but is Hawkeye anybody's favorite?
Well, look,
and I ain't talking about America either. Cap.
But let's be real. The Hawkeye series made me a big fan. All right, I looked at him in a different light. All right, I will admit, maybe not up to that point, but if you look back at Hawkeye's one-liners, like in Ultron, his speech to Scarlet Witch in Age of Ultron, fucking epic, and then his one-liner against Quicksilver about like no one would notice when he's got his arrow pointed at him. All right. Anyways, I will defend Hawkeye another time. Let me get to the point. Jeremy Renner did not have a so good beginning to his year. Okay. Jeremy Renner, aka the Avengers' go-to sharpshooter, Hawkeye to most, was involved in a really bad accident. During New Year's, he was assisting to help a family member after his vehicle had broken down in like the snow. So Jeremy Renner goes and I guess he's got like this epic fucking snowplow. It's like a 14,000 pound Snowcat is the line it is, or product it is. So he uses snowplow to get his friend's vehicle out of the snow. He's successful in doing so. He hops out of the snowplow to take a look at things or talk to his family member, and all of a sudden this fucking 14,000 pound machinery starts rolling over and lands right on top of him, essentially crushing him underneath it, right? He's rescued. He's airlifted to the hospital. He's got to get surgery. He suffers from blunt chest trauma and orthopedic injuries is the diagnosis that the news has shared afterwards. So he's been hospitalized since like January began, and things were not looking very good for him early on. He was in ICU for a minute, critical, and then went to stable condition the following day. Unfortunately, as of January 14th, just a few days ago, he's been he's been stable enough to share videos and messages of positive progress on his recovery process on Instagram. I think it'll be a minute before we get any updates on how this might affect any future roles he had in the pipeline. I tried to find out if Hawkeye season 2 had even been announced. I think maybe so, or it's kind of unclear. It doesn't sound like filming or anything really has been in the works for that. So, yeah, we might have had, I think it's safe to say we all probably had a maybe uneventful or just normal New Year's. And then you got Jeremy Renner losing a fight to a fucking snowplow of all things. I don't know. Did you guys see any of the videos of him like in the hospital looking roughed up?
I've seen the tweet where he was all fucked up and like saying, thanks for the support and all that. But yeah, people were putting up Simpsons memes like savages, like the Mr. Plow.
Bro, that one. That one had me rolling, bro.
Yeah, I was. It caught me by surprise because all I seen was the memes and just the photos of him looking rough in the hospital, and I had to do research, and I was like, oh damn, it was a fucking accident, a snow accident. He's out there having, probably just enjoying New Year's with family and trying to relax for the New Year's, and this happens. So yeah, I just wanted.
He would own that. You said that was his,
or you talked about. You talking about my news being sad, bro. Like, you coming out and outdoing me. Shit, at least mine was like somewhat not depressing. My shit was like, well, damn.
Well, look, yours doesn't have a clear like ending. It's still like, is Nic Cage going to be in the movie or not? We're hoping for the best. Jeremy Renner, at least on mine, he's on the road to recovery. He looks like he's doing better. Hopefully we see him in a movie sometime soon. So yeah, I will admit, Shaggy, Mine's probably sadder, in the beginning,
Yeah.
but mine's got a happy ending. Mine's got a
He's
happy
beat up
ending.
as Hawkeye in the comic. He can just come back,
Bro,
all
he look-
bandaged up and shit.
Bro, he looked like a Titans fan on Moncrief, bro. Like, that's how bad it was, bro. Like,
That was a very
Wow.
hyper Jacksonville joke, and I appreciate you for that.
Of course, I had to do it, bro. I had to do it. Only people in Duval gonna know. But like, hey, yo, but like when I saw it, when I heard about it, I'm like, no, because like
That's a big
of course,
piece
no
of
one thinks,
machinery to fall on.
dude. No one thinks about like how they would leave this mortal coil. But like, that's the last shit you want to go out on a fucking snowplow, bro. Because at first, I'm not gonna lie. Let me be real. I'm thinking mathematically, how the fuck was that even possible, bro? Because I'm thinking like a snowplow is like it's got to suck you in and shit. Like I could be wrong.
I don't even know what one looks like. I'm in Florida.
That's what I'm saying. I'm in Florida, bro.
I don't even know what one looks like. I'm thinking it's a Zamboni, like a Zamboni,
Bro,
like in a hockey
yes.
game.
Bro, I'm thinking it's one of them shits that I'm thinking, dog. I had to compute and try to think of that shit like it's like a fucking edger that you use in the front yard, but it's like almost like you put.
That's like a tank.
Yeah, I went ahead and hopped on Google. Ed can see my screen. Dude,
Okay.
look how
Oh, wow,
big
it's
this
like a
shit
tank.
is.
Yeah.
Type in Snowcat vehicle, Shaggy.
It's
This
got treads
thing
on it.
All right.
is big as fuck.
Let me put that shit up, man.
I guess what's scary is that how unstable. I mean, like you said, we're Floridians. Like we don't. The concept of snow is still like strange to us, right? Like the fact that snow can be so unstable that it could roll over something this heavy. And his luck was so bad that he was standing right in the exactly, Shaggy. You seeing
It's
that?
a tank.
Oh no, bro.
It's a tank, bro.
Bro,
Did they
like,
take
that's
it and
even
like
worse,
destroy
bro.
it? Did they like take the snowplow to the junkyard and scrap it?
Bad Snowcat. Bad Snowcat.
Bro, how, bro? Like this is even crazier because I'm at least thinking it's like hand push. No, buddy driving the
push.
truck hooting, bro.
Fuck, Shaggy.
I'm thinking it's hand. Bro, hey, yo, Ed,
It's like one of those floor waxers in Walmart.
bro,
It's got-
high key, bro.
This is a Hollywood celebrity.
I at least thought it was
you
a
don't think that
Zamboni.
he's got an automatic
I thought
snow something?
I at least thought you had to drive it. At least you sat.
Say,
in it
bro,
and
I'm
drove it.
gonna be real, bro. I don't know what these dudes doing because people can be different. Matter of fact, why you ain't pay nobody to go do the snow shit for
Yeah,
you?
you got money. You got that Disney money.
He's got the hero in him, man. He saw that his family member was in trouble. His
So,
vehicle,
B, that's what I'm saying.
I got a family and friend that's trapped in the snow. I'm Hawkeye. I got to live up to the name. I've been around Chris Evans. I've been inspired.
I'm wrong. I'm wrong thinking he can't put hero and push that shit with his forearms and shit. You do all them fucking workouts.
He's not the Hulk.
You got the strength.
At first, you read that headline, and if you replace Jeremy Renner with just Hawkeye, it sounds like some shit that would have happened in the Matt Fraction run, right?
The Russian dudes rolled it over on
like
him.
hit him over with a snowcat, a snowplow.
Bro.
Yeah,
Bro.
it would be Hawkeye to have this news happen to him fresh out the year, which sucks. But I say all that to bring up to really celebrate the fact that he is doing
He's gonna
better,
be good.
that he's going to be
Yeah.
fine, hopefully, and his road recovery is speedy and good. To really kind of celebrate and shine a light on our guy Jeremy Renner, I just want to hear from you two very quickly. Outside of the MCU, what is your favorite Jeremy Renner role or movie that he's been in? Shaggy, you want to take that?
Absolutely not, because I don't follow that man like that.
Hansel-
Don't put
Hansel
me
and
on the
Gretel.
spot, goddamn it.
Wait, Ed, you said Hansel and Gretel?
Hansel and Gretel. He was
Wasn't he
Hawkeye.
in one of them Bourne movies at one point, or am I
He
wrong?
was supposed to be the
Legacy.
newborn.
Yeah, he was in
Yeah, he was supposed to be
Jason
the
Bourne
newborn.
Legacy. It was
Okay,
only
I'm
a
gonna say
one-movie
that.
thing. It was pretty good.
No cap.
I mean, granted,
I'm gonna say
it don't compare, but I mean to the Matt Damon joints. But Bourne Legacy was pretty decent.
Yeah, I'll say that.
He was in a Mission Impossible too.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he is in Mission Impossible, bro.
Shaggy, I'm surprised with your ultra hood ass that you ain't say The Town with your gangsta ass.
Bro, so like, come on, bro. If I want to
was
watch The
great
Town,
in
bro,
The
I
Town.
can look. I'm gonna watch. It's like if I want to watch The Town, I'll just watch Set It Off. I'll watch Set It Off, bro. That's the hood version of The Town, bro. I ain't. Come on now.
All right.
Absolutely not, dog. Come on, man. But I know The Town is a good one though.
Yeah, he did good in that one, and I'll also give a shout out to him in Tag. He was in that movie
Oh,
Tag,
yeah.
which was
He was in Tag.
a lot of fun, and
Yeah.
Arrival too, which was a little dry a little bit, but I thought him playing a scientist was like a fresh, he played a good scientist. It was like, oh,
Yo, that's
how
crazy.
they
I remember
something.
seeing Tag in the airport, like when I was on a plane, bro.
Oh,
I was like, okay, this movie
that
kind of
is
fun.
such a prime. That is a prime airplane movie.
Yeah,
Tag
dog.
is not a movie you go spend money to see in theater. It's like I'm gonna catch it on the next JetBlue flight.
Oh yeah. That shit play on. That shit's on TBS. That shit's on TBS, and you start looking, and be like, all right, bet you vacuuming, and this shit come on TBS, and be like, all right, bet I'm gonna check this out.
When people ask, yo, where can I catch Tag at? You can catch that on the popular streaming service JetBlue. Okay,
JetBlue.
You might be catching on Delta if you're lucky. All right. Sticking to Hollywood headlines pertaining to comic books and pop culture. This next one, Ed, I want you to take over. You brought this to the group. What you got for us?
So this is just kind of an overall question. So because we haven't really talked about the James Gunn takeover as the co-CEO, but basically this latest news is he's basically any kind of rumor or any kind of casting news. He's just basically on Twitter debunking things left and right. So basically it's Jacob Elordi from Euphoria. He was supposed to be Superman, but he came out and said, I'm writing a Superman script. We're not casting anybody till I'm done with it. And like I said, him and Peter Safran, they took over as co-CEOs October of last year. I don't think we really talked about it on the show.
I actually want to say we did cover that whenever the news of him, James Gunn, Peter Safran becoming like heads of DC Studios. I think we briefly kind of mentioned that.
So basically, so far, they haven't really said too much. They said what they're not doing, which is, see ya, Rock, we ain't bringing you back. They said Wonder Woman 3, nah. Henry Cavill, nah. We have this 10-year plan. We don't know. We haven't really talked about it, but it's going to involve video games, movies, and the TV. But like I said, he's kind of he's so interactive on Twitter, and he's basically shutting down people left and right. I'm just curious, how do you think this is going so far? As somebody, like, you don't see Feige going back and forth with fans and stuff like this.
Can I go ahead and start this off?
Hit it.
I got time. I'm gonna need all these nerds to calm the fuck down. Like, seriously. Like, high key, y'all getting mad because your favorite not coming back, dog. Them people don't care about you, dog. Let's get a bean. They gonna go get money elsewhere. Henry Cavill came back as Superman for like a cup of coffee, and then he was like, "Oh shit, I'm not Superman no more. Oh word, I'm gonna go do this Warhammer shit. Real easy, right?" I compared this to, and he's like, "What James Gunn doing? Bring back, you know?" And of course, you hear the loud Snyderverse folks, right? But I compared this to those who maybe have watched one thing in sports or follow a sports team. When you get new people in power,
oh yeah,
they are going to want to put their own shit in power.
It's the cutting board.
If there's literally something that they want to use, like if there's a star player, like they're going to obviously going to keep one star player.
Coaches are gone.
Exactly. At this point, it's like, hey, we're going to keep the Batman, what old boy got over there doing. He's like, we're going to keep that going. But the rest of this, that's gone, right? You're rebuilding it into your image. And for you to try to keep that and try to live on with somebody else's image ain't gonna work. Like, why would you do that?
That, and like I said, you can even bring it down to, like, if you ever worked anywhere and you got a new boss coming in.
Yeah.
He's gonna make some sweeping changes.
There's gonna be some I can understand people being mad too. Like, right? You have that. You threw your money and your time and stuff like in that, and it's like, wow, why would you do this? And it's gonna happen. That is literally the way of life. Like, if I start this all over, and like if I'm taking over Shortbox, obviously I'm not gonna keep barter. Like, why would I do this?
Whoa,
oh, Shaggy, that was such a funny. Whoa, what are you doing? Out of all of the fake scenarios and possibilities you could have showed, you chose you taking over Shortbox.
Coming at you.
Not in your wildest dreams.
Don't let me move back. Don't let me move back. Welcome to Shortbox Platinum Edition. Just rolling that, but y'all get what I'm saying though, right? Like, it's just, you want to take that over, and then obviously he's gonna have to defend himself from like angry fans, just like people. Just like I said, it comes back to sports. Just like when people take over, like the Jags, for instance, when new coaches and stuff, like, why we do this, why we do that, you see through the vision. Let stuff happen first. If they fail, then you can be like, oh, look, see, it never worked. But if they work, then you're going to look stupid.
Yeah, do you think he should be engaging as much as he's engaging?
I kind of find it refreshing that he is smacking these rumors down himself. You know, it's not like a publicist or a company Twitter account. It's like it's coming from the source. I like that he's controlling like the narrative, right? Like not letting rumors run wildfire. Even though I am curious, what is his screen time? Because if he's online like on Twitter this much to knock down these rumors, like, and very quickly too, I feel like these rumors don't.
He's got
get
some
a lot
alerts going all day.
Dog, yep.
Bing, bing, bing,
His
bing.
ads are crazy right now, bro.
And I don't know how he can really promise this, but we'll see how these turn out. But he's saying that movies will no longer have studio interference, which was a big problem with the last Justice League movie. And he says the only interference, he's like, basically the studio is Peter and I. We are the studio. So if there's any interference, it's going to be us. But there's not going to be a bunch of suits kind of meddling with the story, looking at what Marvel's doing and trying to copy what they're doing in a quicker way. What do you think that's feasible? And do you think he has that kind of clout?
So yeah, he definitely has that clout. My man's doing his best. First off, going back to the Twitter thing, he's doing his best Kevin Durant impression and just like coming out of nowhere and just blocking stuff. Yeah, burner account, just blocking everything. Well, except he's tweeting it from his own stuff. But like him saying that is something that we all want, because there's no studio interference with Marvel. The thing with Marvel is they had to earn that, right? Like Kevin Feige calls all of that, and it goes through Feige. It don't go through Disney, right? Disney's like, oh, we don't like this. Feige's like, I don't care. He's like, he's gonna do it.
It doesn't feel like this is coming from like a need for, control from like a dictatorship perspective. It doesn't sound like James Gunn is getting high off the control. I think like this is kind of like a necessary evil. I wanted to share this quote from that article that Gunn had wrote on his Twitter, where he acknowledges like. He says, we know we are not going to make every single person happy every step of the way, end quote. Starting off, I like the fact that he's addressing that. Like, I know I'm going to be the bad guy in a lot of people's eyes. It's the reality of things. But the following tweet, I think, gives you a better idea of like what his goal is in making such drastic changes. He says, quote, but we can promise everything we do is done in the service of the story. And he's got that capitalized. And in the service of the DC characters we know you cherish and we have cherished our whole lives. I feel like I just heard, I feel like Cesar wrote that tweet from. You know what time Cesar said in the service of the story? So to me, that tells me that Gunn is like kind of taking it back to like basics, like looking at the fundamentals of what makes a good movie or a good story. It's like, fuck the A-list celebrities attached to this, like to these projects. It's about the story. It's about the characters and making like a good product, telling a good story. And if that's the case, like I'm here for it. I had to be reminded. Man of Steel came out in 2013. Henry Cavill has played Superman intermittently for the last 10 years. Mm-hmm. What did you expect, that he's going to do another 10 years underneath like this new regime? Like they brought in James Gunn and Peter Safran. After what was the movie? Was it right after Black Adam that they were announced as the heads of DC Studio?
Right before it.
Right before, right after. It's like, like look at the catalyst. Why did they make such a drastic change and have them assigned to that? It's because like they weren't able to land a movie that without a shadow of a doubt was good. I think every single movie of theirs was just, like I said, polarizing. It was either only the diehard fans loved it, like the Snyderverse fans out there, or it just bombed. Like look at the state of like DCU prior to Gunn. I'm here for giving him a fair shot and doing it his way.
I think maybe the first Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
But then after that,
there's definitely gems, and there's definitely exceptions to what I just said. It's not saying every single DC universe was terrible, because there were some gems, but I think if you're looking holistically, like, their batting average is rather low. And if I was James Gunn, I wouldn't want to play with old toys neither. It's like, look, if you're going to bring me in and I got to do this thing right, you got to give me the power to do it the way I want. And not only that, but it is mad early. The dude like literally hasn't announced anything.
Nothing.
We haven't even done casting because the script ain't even done. Yeah. Like, what are we fighting or talking about yet, right? Like, I kind of get like, just leave me alone until I'm ready to show you guys what I've done.
Bro, he's like, yo, chill out, man. Like, chill out. But like, it all comes with the commodity though, because like, of course, one thing, and I think one of the bigger funny things is like, but I bet you keep Suicide Squad though. You're not gonna get rid of that. I'm like, well, no, because why would I? But at the same time, it wouldn't shock me if he's like, we're going to try to do something else, like different.
Sometimes you play favoritism with the things that you've done, all right?
Oh, yeah.
And the receipts show that shit was A fucking banger, right?
Yeah, and another thing too is like it's interesting. He is kind of Matt Reeves has his own separate sandbox.
Boy,
so
Ed, I definitely was gonna say that because I'm like, long as he leave Matt Reeves alone, I'm good. I don't care what James Gunn do. Leave him alone.
His plans are not going to interfere with the Batman universe that Matt Reeves is with the Penguin show.
It's probably because the Batman was fucking good, and James Gunn is like, yeah, we'll keep the good shit. But I'm not gonna keep. I'm not gonna keep the things that like have caused headaches for us.
Yeah.
I completely.
It was like I think the Batman was like in the top 10 of the grossing movies of 2022, and it's like, yeah, we're gonna keep the breadwinner. Like, what are you talking about? Like, and we're not gonna mess with him. We're gonna let him do his thing. And it's like I said, it's one of those players that you're gonna like. He's doing good. We're gonna keep that over there.
I think in closing, what Gunn has shared about at least the Superman movie, because it sounds like he's taking lead on writing that new Superman movie. He's taking it. Henry Cavill just didn't fit in the scope of things because it didn't match the story he was going with. He's going for an origin story, younger actor. We're talking, and I think also focusing on Clark Kent as a reporter, right? First making it to Metropolis, meeting key characters, your Lois Lanes and other of his circles. So it's like, yeah, Henry Cavill just don't fit. Henry Cavill just does not fit into this. And if anything, I'm kind of excited about maybe like welcoming a new Superman and growing up with that, or like getting older with a younger Superman.
Yeah.
No sad fisherman.
Nah, it's already run its course. All right, one sad fisherman Superman is enough for the world. All right, on the topic of outrage, I'm gonna bring it back to comic books on this one because it wasn't just movies in Hollywood that made headlines this month so far. A comic book also got some people in their feelings. All right, a recent backup story in the Joker, the Man Who Stopped Laughing, issue 4. The backup story was called "Knocked Upside Down." Has made headlines because of it's a pretty zany ass plot, all right? Even by comic book standards, it's pretty funny. It's pretty crazy. But it finds the Joker becoming pregnant, and that has resulted in a case of extreme butthurt amongst people.
DC's just going down the toilet.
Especially with the folks at Fox News, all right? There was a whole segment they did covering this comic book. I think you can find that on YouTube, right, Dad? All right, yeah, you can find it on YouTube. Some backstory if you haven't seen the headline, if you haven't heard the news or know anything about Joker's pregnancy. The comic book in question, like I said, is The Man Who Stopped Laughing, issue 4. It is written by Matthew Rosenberg with art by Francesco Francavilla. The series is essentially about Joker having to chase down an imposter who has declared war on the United States using kind of his gimmick in different areas as well. So completely focused on Joker. It's a very serious, very kind of dark tone comic book, and I guess in every issue they do a more lighthearted
the
kind
thing
of parody.
With the back issues is basically they are doing a Silver Age Joker stories. It's the whole theme. That's why the premises are so goofy. We're talking about Rainbow Batman era, rainbow suits,
Adam West era Batman.
Yeah, like kind of the kind of the more kind of goofy stuff in the Silver Age. So basically, these backup stories, like the first backup story, is him wanting to date Power Girl, and Power Girl beating the shit out of him. And then the next one is him wanting to date Big Barda. He's got a type so far, but
he definitely got a type, bro.
Beat the shit out of him. He gets cut in half. They put gorilla legs on. It's crazy. And so this one he wants to go out with. So these premises are very goofy and lighthearted. So he wants to go out with Zatanna. Zatanna bungles a spell. Basically, her spell initially was you can never get anyone. You can never have a kid. You can never procreate. But basically, she fumbles a spell, and he becomes pregnant, and he has like a little weird clay face baby. It's so bizarre. It's so weird. And they're basically calling this is like a pro-trans, which is not even like brought up. It was like they made Joker like a trans woke pregnant. I don't even, the dots they're connecting here. It's so strange.
Well, some of the stuff that they said that I'll share is one, they called, there's a quote here from one of the contributors, Joe Concha. He said something along the lines that it's no longer the Joker now. He's the Woker.
That's funny.
Woker.
That's a pretty good line. But for the most part, Fox and Friends, a lot of those hosts were disgusted during the segment. They were shocked. They called it woke crap.
Visibly shaken.
Yeah, they called it woke crap. They were confused. They were confused why like the publishers, why the writers, why the creative team aren't able to like read the comic book market.
That's why no one's buying comics anymore
because of the woke garbage.
And one of the guys even says it's a spell cast on them. So he even says in this little snippet, like, they don't mention like the woke or trans or whatever angle they're coming at, but he says it's a spell put on him, but that doesn't matter. Yes, it fucking matters to make your point. Bro. Of course it matters. What do you mean it doesn't matter? Yeah. And
when I read the premise of the story, which Ed you summarized, like it sounds exactly like how a parody, a Silver Age parody like story,
Batmites coming in here
would go.
Yeah,
like Zatanna's powers kind of do weird shit like this, right?
Yeah.
And it's Joker giving basically, like you said, like a birth to himself. Like he spits out like a Clayface baby who becomes who transforms into like a mini Joker baby. Like that makes sense for a Joker story. There's only one person that the Joker loves more than himself. No, I'm sorry. There's no one else the Joker loves more than himself. Sorry. Yeah, so I was a little... I mean, obviously, these guys, these hosts did not read the comic book. I think a lot of people who are just reading the headlines...
They don't know what the reference is. They don't know the Silver Age callback. They, obviously don't read comics. And if you're going to push a political agenda, this is a weird road to go. There, because you can always say Batman has always been... it's magic, and Batman has always kind of had, especially kind of like in the probably the mid 80s to mid 90s, kind of an anti-God subtext, where it's almost like it's like
really get political. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was like, you want to really get political? I bet you look at that my body, my choice shit at that point out, look at you in comic books. But like it was so fucking, it was like, and I'm a big Batman fan too, so I saw it and I'm just like, what the fuck am I looking at? Of course, with Fox News covering, I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter anymore. Fun's over, folks. Like they're going to blow it out of proportion for no reason, and none of them have picked up a book.
There's so many other angles you can go to if this is the point you're trying to make, like this new politically correct woke culture thing. But this is like, you're really grabbing at a very ridiculous premise that didn't mention any of those buzzwords that you're so against.
Well said, yeah.
It's so strange. You can go after Batman for being an anti-gun liberal something, especially like a lot of the stuff and then depending on the writer, how Batman always views guns, So you can say this is like some, political angle there, but this is really ridiculous.
It's a reach. That's what we call it.
It's a super reach.
And if I may ask, when the fuck did the Joker deserve our empathy or understanding?
Yeah.
Like, that's the worst character to be doing this for.
It's like, who gives a fuck if this mass murderer has to carry a fucking clay baby?
God, they're going to have Joker coming out with like a Fox News button. They're going to do some kind of...
Hold on, real quick. I ain't going to hold y'all. I saw it again, and I literally was like, he's probably pregnant with Batman's baby, bro. And it's probably going to be Batmite. When I heard it was magic involved, I was like, it's gonna be Batmite, bro. And I'm gonna just sit there and chuckle. Like, this is how the new Batmite is born. I'm like, no, get the fuck out of here.
So I guess, and to Ed's point, these backup stories in this series are supposed to be this zany, this to kind of juxtapose against how dark and serious the tone of the main book is. If anything, I'm curious if this book is going to be one of those kind of like expensive books. I wonder what the resale on this is, right? Just because of the controversy.
This is going to sell copies, that's for sure.
Do you think it'll sell more copies than 100% than the Bat Dick scandal?
I definitely was about to say it, Barter. Hive mind, bro.
Remember that?
I know those Black Label ones are expensive.
This is not even a Black Label book
like
either.
$8 book.
If you want to get an even bigger chuckle out of pregnancies and comic books, go to pull up your Google tab right now. Pull up a tab. Go to Google and look up Quasar number 29, which is one of the funniest.
Marvel, the House of Ideas.
And this book came out
first
in 1991. Yeah, it's a cover featuring Quasar holding a ginormous pregnancy belly.
It's like the Rolling Stones cover.
It's supposed to be an homage to the Vanity Fair issue.
Vanity Fair, that's it. Another thing too, if you're worried about dudes being pregnant, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito were in a movie called Junior. Arnold Schwarzenegger, one of the biggest stars ever,
like an icon for male masculinity.
For the masculinity, he's commando. He's And he was this is during when he was trying to be funny face, but still, it's like, I don't remember hearing the backlash then.
No.
You know, it's
my
wild.
water broke. Get to the emergency room now.
A four-page backup story in a Joker comic. If you're wanting to do these angles, I don't know, this would be the last thing I would pick. There's so many other ways you can twist things to your agenda. You know, this is like, man, you're really reaching.
Well, that was the last headline that we'll be talking about today. Thoughts and prayers for our guy, Jeremy Renner. Mm-hmm. Our next topic is one I've been waiting all year to do. All right, this is our return to form this episode, right? A lot of this is us returning to our classic segments and topics, and it's time to talk about the best new and upcoming comic books hitting a shop near you. It's time to grab a fistful of comics.
You can either have a mouthful of tea or a fistful of comics.
Fistful of Comics is a segment dedicated to all you comic-curious newbies and loyal Wednesday warriors who are looking for good starting points and new titles to explore in the wide world of comics. And who better to help us navigate the hundreds, if not thousands maybe, of comic books that come out every month than Ben Kingsbury, the owner of Gotham City Limit. I'm very disappointed it took me that long to use that sound bump for him. All right, Ben has provided me with a list of 3 new comics he thinks are worthy of the short box stamp of approval. Let's get some music going and see what's on the agenda today. Let's see what's made his list. All right, the first pick on this list is coming out through Dark Horse Comics, and it looks like it personally speaks to anyone that loves a good UFO sighting or alien story. Here's Ben to tell you more.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Shortbox listeners. I'm Ben K, representing Gotham City Limit, Jacksonville, Florida. And these are my 3 comic book picks you should add to your pull list before the final order cutoff. Let's start with Blue Book number 1. Now, I feel like I'm living in the Matrix. It's kind of a dream come true. I wish I could go back to my 12-year-old self and tell him, wait till you're 43. They're going to make a nonfiction comic book about experiences of true stories of UFO abductions. Now, what's weirder? That there's a nonfiction experience of UFO abductions, or that nobody in society ever frickin' talks about it? Well, I can tell you, Shortbox listeners, James Tynion is going to bring the pain. Remember, the truth is out there.
All right, I'm just going to say this. If James Tynion is writing an alien... Oh, I guess it sounds like he's not doing a lot of writing because it's nonfiction, probably recounting stories. But if James Tynion is involved with an alien book, I am for it, especially after reading his series, The Nice House on the Lake. All right, next up is one from Marvel Comics. For all the Spider-Man fans who love the villain slightly more than the webhead himself, specifically that one villain that's cloaked in red and black. See if you can guess who I'm talking about before Ben beats you to the punch.
Next up, by Marvel Comics, Carnage number 10. Yeah, you heard that right. Usually, if it's an FOC pick for me, I try to get you started at the beginning of a series, but this current volume of Carnage has been chock full of key and first appearances, and Carnage number 10 promises to be no different. First off, Kendrick Lim brings the awesomeness with the cover art Carnage horns and the teasing of a new weapon that would even make the slain Null crumble. This comic has a high chance of being a key. Grab 1, 2, or 10 before FOC. Trust me.
You heard the man. Go on and grab yourself a first edition and get rich 10 years from now, right? When that book is worth like $6. That's probably going to be a key to someone. All right, and last but not least, Ben is keeping it Marvel heavy hitters. The last pick on Ben's list comes in the form of something new and exciting. See what I did there? See what I did there? Take it home, Ben.
And finally, another one by Marvel Comics, but the beginning of a 3-part series, Immoral X-Men number 1. Kieran Gillian is back. Have you been keeping up with the epic X-Men run that Jonathan Hickman started a couple years ago? Well, finally, Immoral X-Men number 1 promises the truth about the Quiet Council. Plus, Emma Frost takes a few minutes to crush out Mr. Sinister. A Sins of Sinister tie-in comic. Yes, please. So that's it. I'm Ben K, still representing Gotham City Limit. Remember, with great power comes great responsibility, and always take it to the limit.
All right, gents. Of the 3 recommendations that Ben has graciously shared with us today, which one are you most interested in? Which one would you put on your pull list?
It's kind of a toss-up between Immoral X-Men and the Blue Book. I do like Emma Frost. I haven't been keeping up with X-Men, though, so I'm going to go with Blue Book number 1.
All right, Blue Book number 1. Vote for Blue Book number 1. Shaggy, what about you?
Man, looking at all those covers, I mean, I'm not gonna hold you. Carnage is probably my favorite Spider-Man created character.
Yeah, because you're a fucking psychopath.
Duh.
Violence.
And come on, bro. I like horror movies and stuff, man. I'm a savant. That dude speaks to me. But like, what also speaks to me, I don't know what's going on in that X-Men book, but the front cover of that book is like hitting some points, and I'm just like, yeah. I'm like, all right, that one. And I'm like, hey, yo, I'm like, hold on, hey, what's this? But I am a sucker for James Tynion, and he has done no wrong for me. And it was crazy because like when he was writing Batman, I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm not gonna read no more Batman. And then I got into it later, like, okay, no, he's actually really a really good writer. So I think I'm gonna put my favoritism and kinks aside and go with Blue Book.
That was so big of you, Shaggy. I know how hard it was to put the kinks to the side.
I had to,
how hard
bro.
it was. Get it? Double entendre? All right, I'm corny. I'm sorry. All right. I think this will be a clean sweep for Blue Book because I'm also going to co-sign that one based on the strength that James Tynion has. He killed it on Nice House on the Lake. If you haven't read that yet, there is a very disturbing alien at the center of that story. And for Blue Book, I see Michael Avon Oming. Is that how you say his name?
Yep.
He's doing the interior artwork, and I feel like you don't get enough of Oming on interiors. So I'm going to go with Blue Book as well. So it sounds like a clean sweep.
Over 2 Marvel books. Way to go, Potter.
I know, I'm growing up. I'm trying to be better in 2023. Much like Shaggy, I'm trying to kick my kinks to the side.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. So it sounds like a unanimous cosign for Blue Book number 1. And that's the list, listeners. If any of those pique your interest, hit up your local comic shops and get your pre-orders in now. A big shout out to Ben for always providing some top-notch recommendations. And remember, even if you don't live in Jacksonville yourself, you can still take it to the limit by shopping at the Gotham City online store for comics and exclusive variants. There is a link in the show notes if you're interested in checking any of those out. Next up, we got one email. We got singular. We got one email to read, and then we're going to be sharing our favorite entertainment options with you. But first, we're going to go stretch our legs. Shaggy's going to go ahead and pour up the good stuff because I think he's hydrated now. He's been brought back to life. So here's some music from the newest member of the Short Box music team. Enjoy the music, and we'll be right back. We are back. The music you just heard was produced by our guy, the newest member of the Shortbox music team, like I said, Lerm. That's Lerm. If you like what you heard, go listen to more of his music on YouTube and SoundCloud. There is links to all of that in this episode's show notes. Now, while we were enjoying a short little break, we got one email sent in, all right? And it's from our most loyalist. Is that a word? Our most loyalist? Loyal. Our most loyal. There you go. Yeah,
if you live in Russia.
Most loyalist.
If I live in Russia. Yeah. Our most loyal Short Box listener, Mr. T-Mix himself, sent in a little something for us to, as like a, hey, when you guys get back, here's something to read. So this is what I'm going to read today. And it's aptly titled. It's appropriately titled. Duval. And he's got all 3 U's in it too. All right. So that is the title of the email, which speaks to my heart right now. T-Mix, you know what's going on. His email starts, yo, what up, Short Box? Week 18 just finished. The Jags beat up on the Titans, and we are headed to the playoffs. Fuck yes, it was always the Jags. Okay, that's out the way. I love the holiday episode. It was great to hear the family together one last time for who knows how long. I'm going to try to say this. It's in Spanish. Te extraña puto Cesar, he writes in parentheses. I should have Google translated that. He continues, good to hear you on the mic. Small world. After last week's pod, I saw this on my local comic shop. And he sends in an image of the Oblivion Bar podcast. It's a giant flyer for the Oblivion Bar podcast on a window.
Whoa.
And the email continues. So does this mean I'm listening to the wrong pod? Question mark, question mark, question mark, exclamation point. Either that or I need to drop some short box posters up there so that Chris, who runs Oblivion Bar Pod, knows that the short box runs St. Louis. Looking forward to what you guys are doing this year. One champion, Joe Fixit #1. Ed was absolutely on point. Badar, he spells it Badar, which would be Badar. You will love it from the jump. Pure entertainment. Hasta la próxima, cabrones, putos, mejas, and Ashley. Cesar was right. T-Mix. Cheers. All right, first order of business. Look, I almost feel like the Godfather having talked to his lieutenants.
Oh.
The Oblivion Bar podcast, you leave them alone. They could.
Which one of those guys are Patreon?
Chris on the right.
Okay, put the poster over that
dude. T-Mix is saying, go ahead and just cover up the left half side, all right? Cover up Aaron. Chris is good in the book. He's a Patreon subscriber.
That guy's cool.
Show him love. Nah, the Oblivion Bar. Look, the Oblivion Bar Pod are good folks, and please don't break this window to tear down their posters. They good people. But if you want some short box posters to hang up in St. Louis, I'm not opposed to that. I got some flyers I can send you, T-Mix. Just let me know. All right, and then second order of business, his champion, which was Joe Fixit #1. It's a brand new series from Marvel Comics about Hulk's alternate, more gangsta persona. Actually came out last Wednesday at the time of recording, so I think January 8th.
Very new. Yep.
Yeah, which was also one of Ben's FOC picks from a previous episode. I think he talked about that months ago, and I've heard really good things about it. Ed, did you actually?
I picked it up. I haven't read it.
Okay,
yet.
Got it. I've also picked it up. Haven't read it yet. So maybe he meant Ben was absolutely on point about it.
Did you
champion it?
Taking away my confidence.
My bad. I want to make sure it goes to the right place.
If you want to see Hulk in a pinstripe suit, that's the guy. That's the guy you want to see. Mr. Fix-It. It's awesome.
All right. That is the one email that we got. Big shout outs to T-Mix. If you want to chime in, listeners, if you got a champion, if you want to talk to us, praise us, we ain't taking no negativity this year, right? If you got any shit talking, save that for Shaggy Black, all right? Address that directly to Shaggy Black. And you can get it handled.
At Shaggy Black.
Nah. Send that to cinemavillainspodcast@gmail.com. I will read that on air and I will put you on blast because I got time, baby. I got time.
Shaggy Black is the James Gunn of podcasters, right? He's got time to talk shit, all right?
Boy.
But yeah, chime in, listeners. We love getting emails from you guys. We love bullshitting and talking to you guys. So send us an email at theshortboxjacks@gmail.com. As always, I made it easy on you. There is a link in the show notes, or you can send us a message on IG. Just let me know that you want me to read it on the show, and I'll do that. You got your marching orders, so while you do that, I think it's a perfect time to get into the last topic of today's show. Before we say goodbye, we're going to help you decide what you should check out the next time you find yourself with some free time, or the next time that you're looking for something new to watch or read. It's time for Champion Season.
It's time for
Champion Season.
Champion Season is the part of the show where we highlight worthwhile entertainment options like movies, TV series, books, video games, and anything else that we would personally recommend to our friends looking for something new to dive into. Shaggy, you are our guest of honor. Are you pouring Jameson Black? Shaggy, for the love of God, that's enough. You ain't got no mixer? Folks, you got to be watching the video version, all right? Shaggy's is in full form today.
That was me last night, sir.
I can smell the alcohol right from here.
First off, cheers to the short box off rip.
We'll take it.
Ooh, gotta love Black Barrel because this is normal Jameson. I'd be on the floor. First off, it's feel great to be back for champion season. I hadn't done this since like 2 years ago, so this is lit.
Do you like the do you like the new I don't think this is I think this is your first time maybe hearing the new sound bump and it being more wrestling related. Do you like that?
So I still like the old one has a place in my heart, bro. Because when we used to sing that Beast Off Key, like it was always fun. But like, you know, I would the old in with the new, dog. I don't hate
indulge
it.
me real quick. How did the old one go?
Did you realize that you are a champion? Yeah. Like just off key, just wild off key, bro. Real ones know. Real ones know, bro. Real ones know.
Yeah, I won't lie. I genuinely kind of forgot. I don't remember the your part at the end, but maybe, you know, my memory.
It was like but then it was reverb.
Got it. I
got you. Like towards the end.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
But normally I would have came here and I would have I was gonna say, yo, I'm gonna just talk about anime based on our conversations that we had, but I'm gonna take it a different way, and I'm going to champion a writer and producer, Akilah Cooper. For those who don't know Akilah Cooper, you may not know her personally, but you may know her work. She's obviously she's a writer now, but she's written 2 movies that one is taking one by storm and the other one is doing the exact same thing. She's the writer of 2022's Megan and 2021's Malignant. 2 horror movies.
Malignant.
Yeah, 2 horror movies that she has definitely taken literally the world by storm. And I'm not gonna lie to you, like Malignant was probably one of the stupidest fucking movies I have ever seen in my entire life. If I can get that movie removed from my brain so I can experience it again, I would. 11 out of 10, my favorite movie of 2021. No bullshit.
My top
Loved
5.
Dude,
C and I agreed on that. We co-championed that when it came out.
Yes, that was great.
The audacity of using that money to make that movie, James Wan.
Bro,
The audacity
James
of
Wan was on a coke bender of epic proportions. It's to Miss Akilah Cooper who wrote that, because apparently, like looking in this, she knows what it is. She knows what it takes to write a villain. She did that same thing back by doing it with Megan, and that little AI robot was probably the sassiest thing I have ever seen on screen in a long ass time. And
oh God,
I really
is this another one of your kinks? Is this another one of your kinks?
No, absolutely not. But it was definitely just it was a fun time, and we may have a new horror villain coming out, just like we had with Gabriel with Malignant. Now we have Megan, the AI bot, but she's also written a lot of other stuff too. Like when it comes to movies, she's written Hellfest, obviously Malignant and Megan, and now she's doing The Nun 2. And then she's also written she was also a writer on like Tron Uprising, the TV show Grimm, The 100, done an episode of American Horror Story and Luke Cage, Avengers Assemble, and she's done Jupiter's Legacy and Star Trek Strange New Worlds. She's got like a background in television, but like those movies, she knows how to write a villain, and I'm 100% for it, so I champion her and her work. Please, you can go stream Malignant on HBO Max and go spend money on Megan, because I'm going to tell you, when we are going to be doing those movies, we're going to be reviewing them on Cinema Villains, and I promise you, we're going to look forward to that.
Good stuff. All right, Ed, passing to you. What you got to champion?
All right, let me do a couple animes. I'll follow up with that. I'm going to champion I believe it's a very recent, but Blade of the Immortal. It's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
If you are a fan, it's a very slow, like if you read the comic book, there's like a lot of slow story parts, a lot of sword school talk, but the violence is insane in that comic. So they have an animated series, and it is, I think it's almost 30 episodes. That's a pretty good series. They do the whole run of the comic.
Hey, yo,
I like
Ed,
it.
real quick, Ed, didn't they make it a movie as well?
Yes.
Okay, so because the movie, I saw the movie on Hulu.
I seen it on Sunray.
Yeah, I seen it on Hulu.
That movie was fucking absurd. The violence in that was absurd.
If you know the story, it's a Manji who's kind of gained the curse of immortality through these bloodworms that are kind of like nanotechnology that heal him up. So basically he can survive any wounds as long as his body parts are close together. He can kind of basically reassemble himself. So in the comic, it's funny because he goes from a elite fighter to a very, very careless fighter because he has this healing factor. So he gets very sloppy. But It's really cool. It's not doesn't have the biggest budget, but they do some really cool effects to kind of make up for it. I think it's visually very good, but it's a lot of, like the comic, a lot of Manji sleeping, a lot of Rin crying. But then the violence is pretty insane, and they keep that in the series. But that's on Amazon Prime. Another one that I think came out 2 years ago is Dororo, which is an Osamu Tezuka series about the character is basically kind of that old Japanese trope of the annoying little kid sidekick. But the Hyaka Maru is basically his father made a deal with 12 demons to take basically every piece of his son. So basically the baby ended up like a little gross. It's really gross. Like holes for eyes, like a hole for a nose, like no arms or legs, just like this little lump of grossness. So they send him, but basically he made a deal with these demons to have basically be prosperous and kind of rule the land. So he gets floated down the river, I think Abraham style. He just gets floated down the river to die. And he gets picked up by this blacksmith / person who makes artificial limbs, prosthetics. That main character is basically, but that character basically has this vision to where he can sense demons, and every demon he kills, he basically regains a body part to the 12 demons that were sacrificed to. So it's a really creepy story. The cute, annoying kid is kind of like the exposition, because you have a character that's basically has like a porcelain mask, really creepy looking. It's not done in the Tezuka style, cartoony style, but basically pulls his arm off, so they're blades. It's pretty wild story. But it's cool that they made an adaptation of it. So I think that's also on Amazon Prime as well. So I was just kind of stumbled upon those the last couple of weeks. So I was like, oh wow, this is cool.
Good champions, Ed. Thank you. My first champion, I feel like it's going to come across like I'm sucking up to you two, and I'm trying to get brownie points. But this is a genuine thing I have fallen in love with, and that is WWE Storytime. It is no secret. Your boy is on TikTok, a millennial trying to hang with these Gen Zers and these young kids. My algorithms on TikTok they know me. They know me well. It is hip hop. It is comic books. And then I have fallen somehow. Wrestling talk has kind of invaded it too. You know what it is? Because I started liking all of those Mike Judge Tales from the Tour Bus videos and clips that people post. So I think it's like, okay, he likes animated stuff. Let's show him WWE Storytime. And I have fallen down a rabbit hole of finding these videos on TikTok. I only recently learned that that you can watch you can watch 4 seasons of this show on Peacock. For those, let me backtrack real quick. For those unfamiliar, WWE Storytime is where you've got, WWE wrestlers and personalities recounting like these crazy stories of their time in their time on stage, touring,
like road stories. Yeah.
But it's given an animated form.
Funny.
I couldn't find who the animated studio is that does it all, but they are excellent. If anything, they elevate those stories to another level. Like they make it unique, right? Like they're not following pace for pace every single part of the story. Like they're throwing in their own jokes and making it their own. So it's fascinating, man. I have learned so much about wrestling from these videos, and I've been just entertained so much from these quick little 5, sometimes 10-minute stories. I think the longest ones are like maybe 10, 12.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they're like under 5 minutes. My 2 favorite that come to mind that I have saved is a story where Mike Henry.
Who?
Is it Mike Henry?
Mark Henry.
Mark Henry. Sorry, Mark Henry. My apologies. I'm not perfect yet. I'm not perfect.
No.
All right. It's where Mark Henry is talking about working out with Vince McMahon in the gym for hours on end. Yeah. To the point that he couldn't wrestle the next day because his whole body was cramping up. And he had to go to the hospital. And Vince McMahon was like, got a kick out of it because he planned it the whole time. He was like purposely trying to fucking get him sore. And even though he was fucking debilitated too and handicapped, it was all worth it. I thought that was funny. And then I'll probably fuck up this name too. Bear with me. Kofi? Is it Kofi?
Kofi, yeah.
Yeah, Kofi.
Yeah.
When Kofi Kingston tells this story about being challenged to, I forget the video game, but it was a fighting game, being challenged to a video game from his social media manager. And the prize was like this signed baseball card or baseball photo that the social media manager like cherished. and beating him and tearing it up in front of his face and just like embracing being the villain because he was like, look, he shouldn't have talked shit. He talked shit. He got dealt with. I'm telling you, WWE story time.
It's so funny. It
fun.
seems so out of character for him. He's such.
Absolutely. Actually, Ed, they have their YouTube show Up Up Down Down with like Austin Creed and Xavier Woods, and they play Tekken, and he is the biggest of shit talkers. When he's on Tekken, that's all he does is like shit talk. So when he said it was a fighting game, I was like, it's either Street Fighter or Tekken. Because if it's Tekken, of course he's gonna mop the floor with him. Because like that's one of his games, man. It's so funny because you think you're like, hey, these guys are super nice. No, they are talking the utmost of shit to one another. He's
never been a heel. That too. He's never been a heel in wrestling.
No, but that is literally how you see him. Well, actually, no. New Day has been heels.
New Day had heel.
New Day has been heels. But it's like that's true Kofi. Like he's still a sweetheart, but like don't put him in front of the sticks, bro, because he's gonna embarrass you. And he'll be like, you know what? They call me Mr. Got Your Ass. Like, that's exactly what he calls himself. It's the greatest thing, man.
Oh, man. I haven't watched that in a while.
I recommend WWE Storytime to anyone that is wrestling curious or just looking for funny ass clips of like real life encounters and stories. Yeah, it's on Peacock. Like I said, I think 4 seasons on Peacock, but there's plenty of clips on TikTok floating around. Sticking to a sports theme. During the break, I had time to actually like watch shit on Netflix. So these next two are Netflix, but this next one is a sports one, and that is the documentary movie called The Redeem Team on Netflix. It follows the story of the 2008 men's basketball team and how the Redeem Team basically had to follow up and make amends from the loss from the 2004 men's basketball team. Even though that team was just as stacked as, the 2008, Allen Iverson, Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James, like huge names in basketball at that time failed to beat, was it
They
Spain?
were trash.
No, it was Greece. They 2004's team got beat by Greece and just embarrassed America, right? And that was supposed to be our game. The NBA, basketball.
What's his name on the Greek team, though? I can't say his name.
I know who you're talking about.
Giannis wasn't around.
He wasn't around that then? Okay.
No, not in 2002 because he's like younger. He's younger than us.
Young.
So
right. Never mind.
So the doc basically follows the following Olympics NBA team, which was a much older and definitely in their prime. D Wade, Carmelo, LeBron, trying to get retribution for that loss, and Kobe also. The addition of Kobe. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe this was the last movie or doc or set of interviews that Kobe Bryant had did. So there's a lot of footage of Kobe talking about this and reliving those stories. And it's a prime example of why I love learning about sports through documentaries such as 30 for 30s. Just like seeing the human aspect and seeing like the person behind behind these very famous athletes. Like it's a very touching story, very inspiring. So I recommend The Redeem Team for anyone that that's looking for that vibe. And a special champion right here. I finally got to watch the Bullet Train. That's on Netflix.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It came out August in theaters. I kind of beat myself up for missing it, but it's on Netflix now. It stars Brad Pitt. You got Aaron Taylor Johnson. You got Bad Bunny is in it. Joey King.
You can stop right there. You stop right there. Bad Bunny. You can't do no better than that, dog.
Actually, I feel like you can't with these next names. Mike Shannon, Zazie Beetz, and my guy Brian Tyree Henry are all in this movie. I mean, it is fucking hella stacked. And the best part is that they're all playing very quirky and deadly assassins who are trapped together on this bullet train by fate, but also outside forces that want to see them all kill each other. Extremely fucking fun movie. So fun, man. And I'm here for Brad Pitt doing all of these roles in movies where it's like you just get a different shade of Brad Pitt. Awesome movie. I highly recommend it if you got Netflix.
This is from the same dude who directed Deadpool 2.
Oh, it is? Okay. That makes sense.
I'm going to say, I don't want to spoil anything, but once we stop, I'm going to point some out to you.
But that is my champions. And Shortbox Nation, it is now your turn to chime in. If you got a worthwhile champion pick that you feel that we and the rest of the Shortbox Nation might enjoy, whether it be a movie, a comic book, a video game, a documentary, whatever it is, share it with us, all right? Tell us if you try out any of the recommendations we shared today, all right? We'd love to hear if any of those resonated with you and get some of your feedback. Hit us up on Instagram, Twitter, or email. Gents, normally I look to Ashley to sign off the show by giving us, what she thought was the biggest takeaway or lesson or parting words for the listeners. I want to toss this one out and see if you guys all agree with me. I feel like the biggest takeaway and lesson that our listeners should leave this episode with is don't start no shit with James Gunn, and there won't be no shit with James Gunn, all right?
Yep.
Are we all in agreement with that?
And hire somebody to do the snowplow.
Boy, that one takeaway. I learned I was today years old to know
I
what
learned what a snowplow is.
That's the biggest takeaway for us Floridians, boy. It's like, whoa, I know what a snowplow is.
It's a tank.
That bitch is monstrous.
Shaggy thought it was a push broom.
Bro, for real though.
You pushed it.
Yo, southern ass out of the south.
Like a lawnmower.
Get your ass out the south.
Bro, for real, dog. That shit crazy. I was like, yo, that's what that is? Yo!
Shaggy, brother, thank you so much for hopping on with us, man. So glad to have you back on the Short Box. I'll have a link to your podcast, the Cinema Villains podcast, in the show notes. I highly suggest if you enjoyed Shaggy on this show, then you will absolutely love him on his own podcast where he is free to drink and get drunk as much as he likes with his homeboy Jose as they review some of the best cinema villains in the history of movies. All right, that'll be linked in the show notes. Check out their podcast for me. Thank you for hanging out with us this week. If you enjoyed this episode, do us a favor and help spread the word and share this episode with a friend or recommend it to someone you know that loves comics as much as we do. If you're feeling extra generous, consider leaving us a 5-star rating review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Look, you're probably listening to this episode on one of those apps anyway, and it won't cost you anything to leave a couple of nice words so new people know this is a good time. Next week, we'll be recording our Calvin and Hobbes / Bill Watterson appreciation episode, so come back next week for that if you're a fan of Calvin and Hobbes or comic strips. And if that's too long for you to wait, you can come hang out with me and Drew as we flip through this month's previews catalog, looking for the best comics, toys, and merch hitting shops soon. That is a bonus episode available exclusively on our Patreon community. It's a good one, all right? If you aren't a member of the Patreon, I promise it's well worth the very small fee of admission we charge you to join. In return, you'll get access to a bunch of bonus content, videos, extra episodes, and more. Just go to patreon.com/theshortbox to sign up or smash one of those helpful links in the show notes. Until next week, take care of yourselves, have a great day, and please continue to make mine and your Short Box. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.